I'm Marielle Williams with Grady Newsource, and I'm here with Adaire Smithwick. She's a junior public relations major at UGA. So Adaire, girls dream about going to New York Fashion Week, and you got to walk in it. That's incredible. How long have you been modeling?
I actually started modeling when I was a freshman in high school, and from there I kind of started doing like casting calls, went to photo shoots, walked the runway a couple times in my hometown Charlotte. So when I came to college, I was, I'm going to focus on school. I don't really want to, do the modeling forever. And then I ended up kind of falling into this opportunity, so it was cool.
Yeah, tell us, what was your experience like at New York Fashion Week?
So what had happened is I was like sitting in my dorm room freshman year in Brumby, and I get a text message from someone who used to do hair and makeup for me on photo shoot sets, and she was like, "Do you want to walk in New York Fashion Week?" And I sat there, and I thought it was a joke, because we were close, so I thought it was a joke, and I called her and I asked her, I was like, "Are you serious right now?" And she was like, "Yes, we need a model to come in a month." And this was in January. So, and New York Fashion Week's in February. So I was like, I have a month to figure everything out. So I got there in February, and it was exactly what you would imagine. Lots of shows, lots of high profile people in New York, like packed. It was cold.
Yeah, I actually went 2 years ago, which is weird.
Yeah.
I went for the Hervé Leger show, and that was super cool. I was like, this is an unreal experience.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So which show did you walk in?
So I walked in Stevie Boy's fashion show, and he was showing his fall collection for 2017. And he is a sunglasses designer, which, I think there's some pictures, but the sunglasses that I received to wear during the show were completely, you could not see out of them. They were gold.
Did you have any say in what you got to wear?
No. I remember he had a couple clothing items from some other designers that he had partnered with, but because he designed sunglasses, obviously it wasn't, there weren't too many outfit options. So he was literally telling girls take off your sweater. I want this girl to wear this or whatever. So it was really crazy. So I had no say in what I was gonna wear. So he was handing out sunglasses right before we walked on, and I was like, "Oh, please give me something that I can see in. Please give me something I can see in." And I remember putting them on, and they were little tiny holes, and I was like, "Oh Lord, please help me see this runway right now."
What's going through your head when you're walking down the runway?
At first, when I first began doing runway shows, I'd get, the adrenaline rush, and I'm sitting there and I'm shaking, and I'm like, I just want to go out there, and then you just black out, and then you black back in, and you're back behind the stage.
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, it's kind of a smaller show, which is great because New York Fashion Week is so it's so intimate. It's not as big as shows in Charlotte or Atlanta. So that wasn't as intimidating, but as soon as I put those sunglasses on and I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening, I cannot see, and there's probably a couple celebrities out there, and I have to walk this runway, I definitely had the shot of adrenaline and was like, oh my gosh.
And those outfits are crazy. It's so weird seeing what girls are wearing on the runway. How does that translate to, mainstream fashion?
So that's the funniest thing, because every time I have walked the runway, I'm like, I love this outfit, and then I see pictures of myself, and I'm like, I could never wear that out.
Right.
So
it's just, it doesn't really make sense sometimes.
I think it's it has. In my opinion, it has to be an entertainment thing. People want to see the craziest things. I know the picture that they had in Cosmopolitan, the girl in front of me who walked in front of me had a bra on without the cups. And I was like, this is wild. And here I am in a full sweater.
It's definitely, they're definitely putting on a show.
Right, exactly.
For entertainment,
which is what people want to see.
Yeah.
And he's selling sunglasses, but no one's really gonna look at sunglasses if there's nothing crazy to look at.
Yeah, they're looking at the whole thing.
Right.
So what's the day-to-day preparation like for a fashion show during Fashion Week?
Oh man. I was there for a weekend, so Friday to Sunday. I flew in on Friday because I couldn't miss class, and I went straight to a fitting, which took 2 hours because they change everything. So you think you're gonna wear one thing and then they completely change it. But it's just the lifestyle. And then I had a dinner with the designer, and then more fittings.
Yeah.
And then the next day, and my dad was with me because I was like 18. And the next day, it's like you wake up, you need to eat breakfast, but a small breakfast. You go and like you are behind stage, like getting hair and makeup done.
It's like an all-day event.
Oh yeah, it's an all-day event. So of course, like the preparation up towards it, like you really want to have like get enough sleep and work out, and you know they tell you not to like get like a tan, like a spray tan or anything like that, but a lot of people do just because like for photo purposes it just looks better.
Like what did you do to personally prepare, like exercise-wise, like diet?
So while I was a freshman, so keep in mind I was combating the freshman 15 at the time.
Aren't we all?
I know, right? So I actually did a lot of kickboxing because I know a lot of like Victoria's Secret models do that to get ready for shows and everything. And I obviously I talked to a bunch of other models that I had worked with in the past, and they were like kickboxing and yoga. And so I went to a lot of hot yoga and a lot of kickboxing. And then I just kind of like cleaned up my diet a little bit. I didn't buy any packaged foods that I could keep in my dorm and snack on late night, just because that's like the culprit for a lot of weight gain. And then leading up to it, my friends would be like, hey, do you want to go like do this? And I was like, I have to go to bed by 10, you know, so.
Get that beauty sleep.
Yeah, beauty sleep is a real thing, so.
So there's been a lot of talk about models having to compromise their health to look the part. You know, the fashion industry can be seen as promoting this unrealistic body type.
Yeah.
Have you heard of any backlash going on with that, related to that?
So when I first began, before, I know that in certain countries, especially in the US, we're moving more towards body positivity and kind of putting limits on how far you can go as a model. When I first started modeling, I mean, I would be backstage and, you know, some girls would have had their ribs removed. So crazy things like that. So a lot of girls, I mean, like this is their life, which I had to understand, and I like learned that quickly because I was 15 years old and I was like, Mom, like I want to go on a diet. My mom's like, no, you don't. You're gonna love your body, you know.
That's great.
And so I think it's been actually a cool transformation to see how extreme it was when I began and how I kind of got to experience that movement, because I can imagine that coming into the modeling industry now, like as a 16-year-old, you're kind of you've already seen the body positivity movement in action, like with models like Ashley Graham, and a lot of, I know in France, they are like watching girls' BMIs. To make sure that there's no under-eating involved.
So it's gotten a lot better, you know, as you've gotten older. So
well, health is so important, and you could totally tell when someone is struggling with something, especially because when you're in front of everybody on a runway or on a stage, and you're showing off something, like people are gonna look at you. You know, like you're in the eyes of the public. So I think that a lot of designers and people in the industry kind of, you know, had a wake-up call, and we're like, these girls are like not in a healthy state of mind, and like we have to help them, like this is their livelihood.
Okay, Adaire, can you show us your runway walk?
Yes, I can. You might not be able to see it because I'm like wearing comfortable clothes, but so basically it's just kind of like a slow strut depending on what kind of direction you want to take. And I guess like when I was learning, they told me like hit like your pelvis like forward, I guess, and you have like a little back bend, and your shoulders up, back, yep, just like that, and your arms need to be kind of behind you. So then you can walk and you can kind of get the crossover you need, but when you're on a stage, it looks normal. It looks like you have great posture. But like right now, it's like, and it's a little uncomfortable. And
Do you sweat at all?
Yes, it's a workout. Like I know plenty of people who like will go on the treadmill and like they'll do like, you know, shoulders up, back, and then you're like pelvis out, and like you kind of hold it tight right here, and you like strut. And they're like in the gym doing that, and people are like,
that's so
what
funny.
are they
So
doing?
you'll walk on the treadmill and just like practice it?
Yes, and practice it at different speeds and everything, because you need to be able to keep the posture.
Why do you think Fashion Week is so important?
That, after experiencing it, of course, I like would sit in my bed when I was in high school and like watch, I think there was an app or something, they got rid of it, but like you could watch every single fashion show. And my parents were like, get off your phone and stop watching fashion shows.
Yeah, girls dream of
Right,
it.
yeah. I think I kind of looked at it as like, these are the cool girls, like I want to be like them. I think it's inspirational because there's like, it's basically like a channel for you to be yourself and be creative as a designer, as a model, as just an onlooker. And I think after experiencing it, I was like, this is real, you know, like this is real life.
Yeah.
And I think like the importance of it is really just now it promotes, you know, like I guess we're moving towards promoting like a healthy image, accepting and embracing who you are, and not being afraid. I mean, the fashion world breaks stigmas every day. So we're so lucky to be able to see that, like, especially in our generation, you know, you can be anyone you want to be, because we, like, the fashion world accepts it. So I think that's
definitely a creative outlet.
Right. And like, especially with like homosexuality and transgender, I mean, it's incredible because, like, they really are, like, putting themselves out there, and, like, because of that, like, they're moving everybody towards more open-mindedness.
So I know that Fashion Week is showcasing the fall collections right now.
Right.
But what are the trends to look out for this spring? That's really what we want to know.
Oh, man, that, I would say right now, the springs, I know last year we kind of had like the off the shoulder stuff, definitely more conservative looks.
Okay.
I'm thinking bright colors. I know,
Take
like
notes.
millennial pink, purple, like a lavender color, just a lot of pastels. I think a lot of people are moving less towards, I know like this fall was like the mustard color or like the army green. I think they're ready for a change. We're ready to see a change. So it's gonna be lots of patterns, lots of bright colors and everything.
What's your favorite trend of all time?
Oh my gosh. I love chokers. I'm like any girl.
Those made a comeback this past year.
Thigh-high boots and mom jeans. Not together, but I gotta say, like a pair of thigh-high boots with anything, like, just makes it look so chic, and it kind of adds like a sexy factor. Like, you could be totally covered up.
Elongates your legs.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be like 5 foot and like you look incredible in thigh highs.
I'm pretty short, so
right.
You know, I dig anything that makes
some
me
thigh
look
highs.
taller.
Yeah. And then mom jeans, just because you could throw them on, and you look so awesome. You know, like, I mean, Kendall Jenner's wearing them, Gigi Hadid's wearing them.
So what are your plans for the future?
So, well, I'm a PR major, so obviously that's like what I'm focusing on right now. So I'm looking into agencies and everything like that, but modeling is still in the back of my head. I definitely am open to any possibilities. Actually, anytime I go home, some photographers I'm just like friends with are like, hey, you want to build your portfolio? And I'm like, yeah,
why not?
In case, you know. So
no, definitely. Maybe we'll see you at New York Fashion Week next year.
Right, I know.
You never know. All right, well, thank you so much for being here with us today. We appreciate it. I'm Marielle Williams, Grady Newsource.